First time watching the movie called Selma, which I am told is about Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this one. I saw Malcolm X before this one. I also saw Glory and Imitation of Life, and I'll be seeing a couple more movies along those lines for this month, which is officially Black History Month. But I will continue watching these movies throughout the year, so if you have some other suggestions for me, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll check them out throughout the year. Now then, before we get into the video, quick question. How are y'all doing? I hope you're doing good. I'm doing good too. My name's Affan. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Now then, let's get into the movie. Without any further ado, here we go.
Lost ones, whose deaths pave our path for the 20 million Negro men and women motivated by dignity and a disdain for hopelessness. It's not right. Wait till the brothers back home see me like this. They'll have a good laugh.
Let them laugh.
Has spoken of his dream, one which we and many other people around the world share. To this undeterred hero for justice, the Nobel Committee of Oslo, Norway, awards our 1964 Peace Prize.
I accept this honor for the more than 20 million American Negroes who are motivated by dignity.
Right there next to you.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is getting your hair wet up. I got my hair pressed that same morning. It was wasted as soon as I hit the water. I should have worn a swim cap like mine.
But I studied. I know how she do it. See, she parts in the middle, and then...
Whoa. That scared the crap out of me. What happened? I mean, I know what happened, but what? I should mention, by the way, I'm not too aware of historical events, real-life events, so I actually don't know what this is. They're gonna get baptized, the children. They blew up the church. Annie Cooper. Lee. Oh, that's Oprah, I think, right? I saw her in The Color Purple. That should be on the channel as well. This is amazing. That movie broke me, literally. Devastating.
Annie Cooper, get on up now. I ain't got all day.
I love the accent.
You work for Mr. Dunn down at the rest home, ain't that right? Wonder what old Dunn will say when I tell him one of his gals down here stirring a fuss.
I ain't stirring no fuss. I'm just here trying to register to vote.
Ah, to vote. It said registration questionnaire, but I'm like, for what?
In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, promote the general welfare.
How many county judges in Alabama?
That's a citizenship test. They asked me that too when I was taking my test. Wow, that's interesting because they ask you this, like I mentioned, during the citizenship test. So you have to pass this test, then you become a citizen. And if they're asking these questions before they can register, what does that mean? They're not citizens. It makes so much more sense now what Malcolm X was saying, you know? We're not Americans because they're not treated like it. Like by the law. I mean, I knew how they were treated, obviously, outside, but officially, on paper, when the law states that they have the right to vote.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a tall son of a bitch, but this close to the new Nobel laureate.
I know that actor as well, I think.
I feel damn fortunate to have someone as statesman-like as you leading the movement. It's not one of these militant Malcolm X types.
Here to speak specifically about the denial of a basic American right for the Negro citizen, the right to vote.
Technically,
we already have, yes, Mr. President, but of racially motivated murders in the South, including...
Well, I know that.
And you know the astounding that not one of these criminals who murder us ever been convicted because they are protected by white officials. And all white electorates trial, they are freed by all white jury. Can't serve on a jury unless you are registered to vote.
Oh, I know her too. She's in the Marvel movie, Guardian of the Galaxy. Was it Thor? One of them. Okay, Selma. What's the name of the place? And okay. Serving whites only. Oh, lovely.
Selma's the place. A lot of groundwork's already been laid by the people here, and they ready.
Good afternoon.
Oh, what a warm welcome.
This way, Dr. King.
The hell?
That white boy can hit.
This place is perfect.
What's the FBI's current information?
King is a political and moral degenerate.
Well, you
Lovely.
say that, J. Edgar. I have to take it seriously. But if he's a degenerate,
J. Edgar Hoover?
he's a non-violent.
Yeah?
You know, we can shut men with power down permanently. If you'd prefer a different approach, we can go with the wife. We know there's tension in the home already.
Lovely.
We can dismantle the family.
It's funny, he just mentioned we don't want these militant types like Malcolm X. He specifically mentioned Malcolm X. Now, Malcolm X have never done anything violent. He has said a lot of things, of course, and he was misguided, as you saw in the movie. But what are you proposing yourself, you know? Of course, it's not the president suggesting that, it's the director, but still. Oh, and the phone calls. Same as it was happening to Malcolm.
Same thing.
It just makes me respect Martin Luther King even more, you know. Seeing all these movies and all these events and learning about them. To be able to remain peaceful, to be able to remain sane, really, after everything they go through. It's
For a couple of weeks, please.
insane, you know.
To be done.
Gotta be built different. Oh, and he's built, by the way. Look at that.
Highway's nice now. Get you there in a couple of hours.
Wait, it just hit me. Is Dr. King, the actor, is he the dude from Rise of the Planet of the Apes? I just saw those movies as well. I think so. The dude in the corporation or whatever. The boss dude.
This local sheriff, Jim Clark, is supposed to be bad business.
Jim Clark, so similar to Jim Crow.
Since we don't fight, good a place it dies in, I guess.
Wow.
I wish you wouldn't talk like that.
It just takes the edge off.
Yeah.
You and your friends can joke about that. I don't joke about that.
Yeah. Everyone's different.
You're right.
For some, jokes can help. I am like that too, but for some, nope. Makes it worse. Wow. So, okay. So this movie is done very historically accurate. This is the second or third time that they're actually giving us the exact context of how it happened. Like, in written. And then shows us the scene. So all their phones were tapped. We saw that in Malcolm X as well, so they would know about this. But of course, it being Hollywood, they'll have to, glamorize some of the things a little bit, intensify things, make it more entertaining, which... It's weird to say entertaining about something like this, you know?
This here is James on.
Oh, this is a big one. I don't know if I got enough to feed you.
Well, let's find
Okay, so now you got two of them named James.
Oh, you can call me Jim, sister. And orange is fine with me, man.
Oh, big fella.
All right, well, this is fine with me.
Jackson, those grits, they need some stir. Mind? You put your foot in this. Yeah.
Ain't you Somebody call Juanita.
Oh, man. It's good. It's good to see that in this much stress and this much despair, they can still find a moment to laugh and familial sort of moment.
Our life as a community, our lives. We can do this. Children become victims of one of the most vicious crimes ever perpetrated. We will not wait any longer. Give us the vote. That's right.
There it is again. Okay.
And a big part of that is raising white consciousness. In particular, the consciousness of whichever white man happens to be sitting in the Oval.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got the new word in my holy righteous way. I got the new world in my view.
In Albany, the segregation was everywhere. Selma, we can concentrate our actions on one building, a citadel defended by fanatics, the Selma Courthouse, a perfect stage.
And they've got cameras this time around. It's funny how cameras changes everything.
Okay, we about to sit him down. He can't sit.
Hey, sit down, goddammit!
Hey, Pop.
Do you have a problem?
I'm sick of this. I'm worth it.
Black!
Get your hands off me.
Attempting to orchestrate a disturbance in this state.
They can hit you, they can be violent, but you have to be non-violent. Oh, and he's been arrested.
Instead of allowing each race to flourish from its separate racial state, sickening the balance of the Southland.
There it is. Now he's gonna get pressured into making a decision. Making it their priority. Yup, there it is. Told ya, cameras are around. Oh, the filthy politicians. The scum of the earth.
Johnson will flinch.
Tired, Ralphie. Tiring of this.
Eyes on the prize, Martin.
Yeah, but what is the prize, friend? We fight to have a seat at whatever table we want. How does it help a black man to be able to eat at a lunch counter if he doesn't earn enough to buy the burger?
That's true.
Can't even read the menu. There was no Negro school where he's from. What is that? Equality?
Amen.
And what about in our minds? Equality in the black psyche. I mean, look at these men beaten and broken down for generations. Murdered the man in his own driveway, kids and wife right there inside the house. And what happens to the people he led? What are we doing, Ralphie?
We take it piece by piece.
Slowly but surely.
We build the path as we can, rock by rock.
Takes a very long time for the people themselves, to get out of that mentality. I talked about this a little bit in Imitation of Life as well. Same thing happened with our people in our country. Even after independence, you could still feel, that everybody felt inferior. For centuries, they were treated that way, inferior, so.
They've prepared you.
I come with great respect for your husband. I have no army behind me anymore.
I was gonna say, he looks a lot like Malcolm X. Okay, it is Malcolm X.
Your husband and I, we do not see exactly eye to eye on how to achieve progress for the black man. Yes, I have been piercing in my critiques of nonviolence. But because we don't agree, Mrs. King, does not mean that I am the enemy.
What do you intend to say to these people then, sir? A lot of work has been done here, and I don't intend to see it undone tonight.
Let's just say my eyes see in a new way.
Okay, so this is the
He doesn't know that.
Malcolm after he left the nation. Because the nation's weird.
Alternative that scares them so much they turn to Dr. King in refuge. Let my being here, Mrs. King, represent the factions that will come. They don't give the good Reverend what he's asking for, and soon.
Do you know what he has said about?
They call themselves Nation of Islam, but they don't. Some of the things they're doing is completely against Islam.
He spoke with some of the words he's used before, but it wasn't aimed at you. It had more to do with helping us.
Our movement changes laws and day-to-day life for our people. But what has he changed? Actually changed.
You don't sound like yourself. You sound tired.
And you sound enamored. I didn't mean that. Corey.
He has done a lot,
I didn't mean that.
He has motivated people. You said yourself, Martin. It'll take a lot for these people to be able to stand up for themselves. And someone has to lead them. He did that.
What I want to hear. How in Christ's sake does Malcolm X slip into my state, meet with the wife for the other one?
Of the other one.
Speech to these who already riled up enough. I mean, how does
Lovely.
that happen? Is every spook militant in existence going to pay us a visit?
Potentially.
I mean, what's not clear about that?
Look, George, I'm telling you, if the Lord Jesus and Elvis Presley come visiting, and they said, Jim, we need you to treat them nice. Jim Clark beat the shit out of the pair of them, then throw them in jail.
Jesus and Elvis Presley.
Go to some bleeding heart fundraiser in California.
So, King's out of town, fewer cameras.
And Malcolm X is the violent one. The militant, eh?
It's gonna be all right, okay? Act like you reading your menu, okay?
Don't everybody stare at him. Come on, you're giving him away. Oh, lovely. A new. Oh.
No words to soothe you, Mr. Lee. But I can tell you one thing for certain. God was the first to cry. He was the first to cry for your boy.
Yes, I believe that.
Is your daughter, is Jimmy Lee's mother here, Mr. Lee?
She couldn't make it.
May I ask your age?
Oh, I got 82 years. Yeah, Jimmy. 30-year Army man. I mean, what was an Army man? Army a spell. He said, Pa, you gonna vote for you done. That's what he said. Jimmy gone.
We're gonna demand to see the president, and I'm gonna tell him that Jimmy was murdered by an administration that spends millions of dollars to sacrifice life in the name of liberty in Vietnam, yet lacks the moral will to defend the lives of its own people here in America.
Wow. The same exact thing is happening right now. It's just not Vietnam, it's just a different country.
All of those, like Jimmy Lee Jackson, were gone too soon.
Let me hear the top tier issue.
You gotta start with banning these laws that if a Negro tries to register, that their name and address is published in the paper. It gives anybody who wants to do them any harm their exact location.
Yeah, but the poll taxes gotta be our focus first.
Not a single black person for 100 miles is registered. So how you get the voucher to get you into the courthouse door, to pay the poll tax, to get your name published and get yourself there?
Wow.
Double threats with detail. This is coming from Lowndes County, Alabama. I'm telling you, if he were my guy, I'd keep him off the front lines just for a while.
Make me halfway on this, Mark. People are dying in the street for this. It cannot wait, sir.
President, how did it go?
Give me J. Edgar Hoover.
What? What was that at the end?
That isn't me, Corey.
Oh.
I know what you sound like.
What? Oh, man.
I've gotten used to a lot, all the hours.
I was just thinking, how low can they go, really? But that's nothing compared to what else they've been doing all this time.
This house, renting here, no foundation. Without the things the children should have.
So that's why he wanted J. Edgar Hoover, huh? Destroying their family, their house, like he suggested they should do.
Do you love any of the others?
I need to put the march back a day.
But I have to tell you, the organization looks good. Mood is strong. The locals are prepared.
It had an impact.
Big kids are ready to go. We
The fact that she had to ask.
join in on the second day.
The tape had an impact.
I don't know, Andy. It'll be just fine. We'll get it started strong.
Are they... Because they know the phones are tapped, so are they... Oh, he's serious. I thought he's like playing them or something. Giving them the wrong info.
Let's proceed.
Okay, lovely.
Nonviolence is not passive. It's actually very strong.
Shouldn't do this, John.
They keep their ass in Washington, D.C.
What you might deal with out there, what you might experience.
We were here first, and they called him in. I get it. I understand that. If we are really and truly for the people,
Yeah.
and the people of Selma chose him.
Shouldn't matter about your personal goals. The bigger goal, the bigger picture. You gotta look at that. It's dangerous, it's not easy, but the way they're discussing it is more political. They're not really worried about the dangers as much.
It's on you, Jose.
Ready, young blood? Let's do this.
About 525 walked 6 blocks to cross Pettus Bridge and the Alabama River.
Let's do this. It's gonna be brutal. I hope not, though. Uh-oh. I was just gonna say, so far, so good. Oh, come on, man.
Were dozens of possemen, 15 of them on horses, and perhaps 100 white spectators.
Mm-mm.
Can
You swim? How many swimming pools for black folk where I come from? Yeah.
You know what they say about swimming and black folks, eh? Oh, lovely.
It's Bayard. Everybody there?
Yes.
Turn on CBS right now, Andy. Right now. You have a TV there.
Yes. Now?
Right now.
Turn on the television, sir.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. I hope this goes peacefully. This f***ing guy, I swear.
This is an unlawful assembly. You have 2 minutes to disperse.
May I have a word with the major?
There's no word to be had.
Oh no. You're gonna gas him.
Advance!
And the white people on the side cheering him on, wow.
Those still on their feet retreated. A cheer went up from the white spectators lining the south side of the highway. Despite injury from a possible skull fracture, led the marchers back to the chapel. Johnson sent troops to Vietnam, can't send troops to Selma, Alabama.
Like I said, priorities, and they don't prioritize the lives of black people over some disagreement in a foreign state. And like I said, it's also going on right now.
We need your gun, man. I can't walk. I got enough to kill a couple of them crackers. That's what I got. And how many of us you think they gonna kill in retaliation? Remingtons, the helicopters.
Proportionate response. Ugh.
Cold, hard facts. Now you take 2 of them, and they take 10 of us.
Yeah.
While rageful violence continues toward the unarmed people of Selma, they are assaulted with tear gas and batons like an enemy in a war. No citizen of this country can call themselves blameless, for we all bear a responsibility for our fellow men. I am appealing to men and women of God and goodwill everywhere, white, black, and otherwise. If you believe all are created equal, come to Selma. Join us. Join our march against injustice and inhumanity. We need you to stand with us.
They're going?
Judge Johnson.
Let's go. That's true, though. If you just sit by, watch it happen, do nothing about it, you're complicit. Let alone if your tax money is being used to do it, then you're definitely complicit.
Give King the march to Montgomery. Do that, then Selma's over, and you're back in control.
In control of what? Another civil war?
Even now, they're thinking politically.
Do you think he cares about the march? He wants the law changed.
There's a reason why they're marching.
Every march pulls them, especially when people are getting beat up in the streets. These pictures are going around the world. You tell Wallace and those backwater hicks I don't see any more of this horse.
Speak with Governor Wallace and Sheriff Clark and urge them against violence instead of trying to persuade us not to have a peaceful protest.
That's true. How the victim becomes the culprit.
Thousands have gathered here to demonstrate their dignity.
Which is their right, by the way.
People who just want their rights, and I couldn't just stand by when Dr. King put out that call to clergy.
And you shouldn't. Wow. It's very good. You gotta give it to the people, though. They are good people here, you know, in America. We saw a similar protest recently in Washington and all around the world and all around America, really. People from all walks of life coming together against injustice.
Want you to know.
But the governments, however, they never fail to let us down, do they? March forward.
Troopers, withdraw!
Oh, lovely. It's going back? It's part of the deal?
Angry. Now, they went back to that bridge because they were hot about Sunday. That was our moment out there today.
And you threw it away. Sealed off the road behind us. Food, water, no kind of support allowed through. We wouldn't have made 10 miles.
But you saying this is a trap?
You know why they opened up the road to us? Because all them nice, respectable white folks was with us.
Yeah. And it was also televised all over. I was just thinking, what if they put some white people at the front and they won't attack?
You didn't want to march at all. And now you're mad because it didn't go the way you planned? Now, what happened out there today? You got to tell us something.
What happened? Did they actually make a deal, or?
I'd rather people be upset and hate me than me bleeding.
Or was he concerned about the safety?
You know, you're not on the notes, you're not on memory, you're tapped into what's higher, what's true. God is guiding you.
I've known that feeling. It's rare, but I've known it.
Are they gonna get attacked for siding with them?
He kneeled down, prayed to God, and got an answer, and he was brave enough to follow that answer, except he owes me a bus ticket home.
You know what I hate more than...
There it is. Called it.
Look, we don't want trouble, okay?
No, you came here stirring trouble.
Uh-oh.
Doc. Someone's been hurt.
White people. Ooh, that's really gonna help their movement, right? Because they don't care if a black person gets hurt, but if it's white, oh.
Dead.
But it could also hurt their cause too. Scare the others.
Now, I'm glad that you called Reverend Reeves' widow, sir. That is very fine, and it is right. I only wish that Jimmy Lee Jackson's family would have received the same
Same consideration. So I know that they're trying to work on a deal, the president and all the other politicians. But wouldn't it help if they have demonstrations? Wouldn't that put more pressure on the others who are not agreeing to the bill?
remember the Civil Rights Act, but they will remember the standoff in Selma when you never even set foot in this state. They will remember you saying, wait, and I can't unless you act.
And beating on it. I must have passed out on the asphalt. So next day, found myself patched up, sitting in a church. You were gonna be speaking. I was feeling down, but you got up there.
I don't think we remember it the same way. A lot depends on what they have to say, okay?
It's the missus.
Your Honor, you will hear testimony from the victims who were beaten and bludgeoned in their quest for freedom. The fact of the matter, Your Honor, is that the incidents that occurred cannot be disputed. Will paint a thorough picture of the horrific event.
Very well.
The eye roll. Wow.
Violent situation on both sides.
I don't need any of your preaching and prancing in here, you hear. I want an answer.
Objection.
Watch it, Counselor.
I'm very hard, Judge.
Try harder, Counselor. Basic to our constitutional principles that the extent of the right demonstrate and march along the highway in a peaceful manner ought to be commiserate. With the enormity, extent of the right demonstrate, march has been approved according. These proceedings are concluded. Good day, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, or like TOs. This is what I'm saying. Martin Luther King, you were built different. I couldn't. I do not have that kind of patience.
Agree they got the right to vote, don't you?
I know that. That's the law.
Why don't you just let them vote?
I don't have that power. It belongs to the county registrars.
Now, don't shit me about who runs Alabama. What do you want looking back? You want people remembering you saying, wait?
Oh, wow.
It's too hard?
He's using Martin's words.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna let history put me in the same place as the likes of you.
Wow. What an insult. Even more people. By beating them and trying to stop them and try to eradicate them, their movement only grew larger.
Where do we go? We stand as America. We are here. Ain't gonna let nobody turn us around.
That's history. Wow. That guy and his finger. That's gonna be there forever.
Greatest demonstrations of protest and progress ends here. here in the Capitol.
Something to think about, you know. You can believe in so much in a particular moment, how wrong that can be perceived later on. And how wrong it is, you just don't know it. Not yet, at least.
We have seen powerful white men rule the world while offering poor white men a vicious lie as placation. When the poor white man's children wail with a hunger that cannot be satisfied, he feeds them that same vicious lie. A lie that regardless of their lot in life, they can at least be triumphant in the knowledge that their whiteness makes them superior to blackness. We know the truth, and we will go forward to that truth, to freedom.
Wow. Oh, wow.
We will not be stopped. We will march for our rights, citizens. We will.
He got to vote before he went, eh?
Soon and very soon, because you shall reap what you sow. When will we be free? Soon and very soon, because no lie can live forever.
He was assassinated too, like, oh man.
Breaks of wrath are stored. He has loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. Glory, hallelujah! His truth is marching on.
Wow, I got goosebumps right there. Oh man, these guys were special, weren't they? Their ability to speak, their ability to conduct themselves, their ability to restrain themselves in certain situations. I salute you, Dr. King. Any post-credit scenes? Nope, not this time. Oh wow, this was a near perfect movie. Wow, so well done, so well acted. The actor who played Martin Luther King was incredible. The others were good too, but obviously he was the main focus. So yeah, it was it's very good. Okay, so this movie dealt with more sort of the march for the black voters' rights, starting in Selma and going all the way up to DC, the capital, which is good. I saw Malcolm X. The reason why I'm saying this, I saw the movie Malcolm X. And that was from the very youth, you know, all the way up to the moment he was killed. This wasn't like that, and that's fine. They had more time to focus on this. This was, I guess, a very pivotal moment in history, and one of the most important things that he's done, amongst many other things that he has done for the civil rights movement, and it was very well portrayed, and it was also very important to see how big of a role media played in all of this, you know, because President Lyndon Johnson didn't do this, whether it was he who didn't want to do it or he had pressure on him by, you know, others in the House and the Senate and so on and so forth. I don't know, but from what it seemed, he was reluctant to go ahead with this until these brutalities and these murders and killings of innocent protesters were broadcasted on TV, because these were happening before this as well. This wasn't the first time anybody was killed. I mean, they talked about Malcolm X as well. He was killed for this too, right? For this movement. What happened? Nothing really. But this was sort of the first time they sort of broadcasted it on national television, and a lot of people saw it, and it wasn't until the white people got involved when, you know, he had to make a choice. So again, it's politics. Whether he was a good guy or a bad guy, I don't know. But one thing's for sure, because of politics, he couldn't make the right call, even though he knew what the right call was, even though he knew that it should have been done a long time ago. And it wasn't until he was forced, literally, you know, that he went ahead to do it. But at least he did it. You can give him that. At least there were some people who came forward in these protests. Yeah, sure, you had Wallace, right? You can look at the flip side as well. You had the Jim Carter or whatever, the sheriff. You had Wallace. You had all these people who, even after these protests, after all these things, still didn't want to do it. And not only didn't want to do it, actively worked against it. And again, like I said, let's not forget the thing that Johnson did with Hoover, right? He tried to break Dr. King's family. So let's not forget that. He's not all that great a person too. But what I'm saying is at the end, at least he came around, whether it was due to political pressure or pressure from the people or whatever it was. But he came around. So the role of media and how important it can be was portrayed here. And it was portrayed really well. Unfortunately, today, you have the mainstream media sort of bought by each party, and they sort of propagate whatever they want, you know? They're not really there to spread the truth, but their own agendas and propagandas. And that's why it's important to go out to independent sources, go out to the social media sites and places such as YouTube as well, where we have people who are independent, who have no agenda, who are just telling you things as they are rather than how they would like to be or how they perceive it or how they want people to perceive it. They're not trying to change the narrative. They're just simply giving you the truth and only the truth. So it's important to be connected in today's age through these social media sites such as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth, if you really want to know what's actually happening around the world. Because a lot of these things happen. A lot of the things that they showed here are happening right now, not just to Black people, but to Asians, but to Arabs, to anyone who's not part of the group that is in charge. And unfortunately, these mainstream channels will not show it. So it's until you go to these other independent sources, you'll learn the truth. So it's very important to keep that in mind because, like I said, the struggle continues today as well. Yes, we have come a long, long way. Let's not forget that due to people like Dr. King and also Malcolm X and many, many, many others, we have come a long, long way. We've progressed far, but we are not there yet. We have to keep on moving. We have to build on the foundation that these people has given us, and we have to keep going. We have to continue building on. And that's the end of my sermon. Anyways, back to the movie. So like I said, I like the actor who played Dr. King, and the reason behind that is because you could really tell how he changes, his mood, his tone, and the vibe really of the scene changes. When he's with his wife, right, he's one way. When he's with the president, he's another way. When he's with the people in his church talking to Black people, he's a different way. When he's talking to white people, he's a different way, and he has these different sort of mode. He's way more open and way more passionate and a little aggressive as well when he's speaking at his church, I believe it is, because that's the inner group. That's a group that understands what it is that he is talking about. And then his messaging, it's the same messaging, but the tone shifts a little, when it's for an outside group, and it becomes more palatable. That's one of the differences. I talked about this in the Malcolm X video as well. That's one of the differences between these two characters, is one is very aggressive, but it is something, the message is something that resonates or is very understandable for the in-group, which is the Black community, because they have been through all these atrocities and they understand that, when you go through stuff like that, it is hard to control your anger and rage, so they understand that. But then there's the group outside, the white people, the folks that are not being brutalized, not as much at least. They need to then have a different sort of tone because they don't understand. They don't understand what it's like to be beaten down. They don't understand what it's like to be shot, have your son or grandson, in Jimmy's case, be killed simply because they want their rights, and a right which they have already, but they're not letting him practice. So the messaging and the tone of the messaging has to change a little. And that's what he did. And that's why I think he was so successful, was because his message was something that reached everyone, whereas Malcolm X's message reached only people who could understand the atrocities and the brutalities that were taking place, and not everyone. I think that was a really big difference between the two. Another thing that they talked about, Dr. King himself talked about, which I thought was very important and is still important today, was that even if you're not doing anything, you're still complicit because your tax dollars are going towards this. He was talking about the war in Vietnam, outside wars. And not just that, but also these the things that are happening in the country as well, the protesters that would being beaten, obviously those people are being paid by the taxpayers as well. So you're complicit in that way, but then you're also complicit if you're just not doing anything about it. Something wrong is happening and you're just standing there watching it happen. When you can do something, but you choose not to do something, that's important to understand as well. Important to know your responsibilities and your rights as a citizen and just as a moral human being, really. What should be and what shouldn't be. They discussed a lot of issues, financial issues that the community was facing at the time, a lot of educational issues. Of course, those people were stopped from any sort of development at all. We saw that in the Malcolm X movie. He was told as a child that he cannot become a lawyer, even though he wanted to. And they were like, no, you need to be realistic. You can't become a lawyer, right? Choose something that is realistic. So they were stopped, and there were hurdles in their way. Even it didn't matter how brilliant you were, it didn't matter how good you were, it didn't matter if you met all the requirements to become a lawyer. You just simply couldn't, because that's too unrealistic, because you're black. So a lot of issues were discussed, and some of those still persist in some communities. But like I said, we have to keep going. There's no stopping now. Now we're really striving. Now, yeah, sure, we've come a long way, but we're not there yet, and we have to keep going. And I hope we do, and I hope there's a lot we can learn from these great figures that we've had in the past, and I hope we continue on to have more people such as this now and in the future as well. And I hope you learned a thing or two from this video as well, and if there's something that I've said that is factually incorrect or morally or any which way that you agree or disagree, do let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to get to have a chat and understand this more. My understanding of these issues is growing. Like I said, I'm not originally an American. I am now, legally, finally, let's go. But, I wasn't born here, I wasn't raised here, so I'm not familiar with a lot of the things. But I am doing my best to educate myself, and I appreciate any and all help that I get from you guys. As always, if there are other movies that you guys want me to do, I'll absolutely do them. I've got Hidden Figures on my list as well of a movie to see. And there's another movie, 12 Years a Slave, that was recommended a long time ago, so I might see that one as well. And some others as well. Like I said, we're going to continue doing this throughout the year. And it doesn't have to be just these movies. It can be any movie about any topic, anything, just a comedy movie, just a silly action movie, whatever. I'll do them all. I've done Marvel movies, I've done fantasy genres, I've done whatever. I do everything. So don't be shy. Let's have a chat. And hopefully you enjoyed the video, if that's the right word, or learned something from the video. If you did, do drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, so we can continue this journey together. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, have a nice